All right, how's that? Is that better? Yeah, yeah, baby. Oh, that's how we do this.
Oh, well, tell the Giga Chaz we are rolling.
Get it, get it. You guys don't know about the gigas. Hey, you superstars. Please shout me out. All right, tell me what's going on that you get that shout out, my man. All right. All right. Dev, thanks for joining us today, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
Dev?
That's the Devinator. Man, it is going good over here. I will say that. We had a fun, savage workout. You'll probably get that up on YouTube Shorts, yeah?
Which one?
Whatever the kids said, because we got to get that more information out there because we're not getting. I see what I did there. Oh, is that it? You guys got it? You guys got it. I think you do. I think you do, but I think I got something better. I got the Big Johnny. There's the man of the hour. And then,
man.
Oh, look what just came today.
Ooh, now about to have some fun for sure.
So this was on the we got home from the workout. This is it's Tuesday, so it's Dora Day, the greatest day of the week for me.
Yeah.
Jeff walks in and he's the first thing he says is, "Oh, that's what Josh. Josh is this high-end DP for the movies. So he's like, top tier videographer, movie guy, and he's like, this is something that he uses. So I'm excited about using this.
I mean, so many applications you can use that with, man. The quality of the sound. I mean, the video can be 4K. I mean, and the way that you can use it is the really cool thing, because it looks like it's like a GoPro,
right?
But like the camera is like in it, if that makes any sense, and it pops out. And the camera, like, is magnetic, so you can stick it to any piece of gym equipment you possibly could think of. Probably.
Can I stick it to Bobo's head because it's metal?
Yeah, if it's made of metal, you can stick it there for sure. It's gonna stick. But it comes with a couple of different things too. Like there's this thing you can wear around your neck, and then it goes in and it'll stick like right on your shirt, so you can do like a POV type thing. So it's super cool. So when you're walking around or you're doing expos or traveling or it's just like that, like underneath. So, and there's a couple other attachments in there. And then if you want to see what's going on in the camera, obviously you can use that block and see what's going on there as a monitor, or you can use your phone as a monitor too and control it.
Set up. So we get to play with this later today. I love that. And it's a big week because we have here in another, I guess, 2 weeks, we have the Arnold Classic is back, and we were with Joseph, his son, today doing some chess, and we were also with Patrick Schwarzenegger, his nephew. So it was a fun gym day today, but I got into a deep discussion with where were they? Some Swedish kids, 19 years old. And they were talking about information about training and the different platforms. And I know that we're on Instagram, but we're also on TikTok. We're also on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Snapchat,
everywhere.
We're everywhere. And it's a different demographic. It's a huge different demographic. But I wanted to talk today because today's a big week over at Titan Medical. Because we got a young buck here, this early 40s guy that I'm looking at right now is enjoying this week, but you're still a pup. You're in your early 40s. What do you know, and what would you say to these 19-year-old kids, that are in the gym today? What is some of your guidelines that it still got you? And again, in my world, or in the health and fitness world, I consider you a young pup, still early 40s, especially in today's what we can do. What's some advice you're giving these kids?
Turning 44, this weekend, Obviously, listen, I've been through a lot. I'm still young on the younger end compared to Mike. But at that point, when I start looking at people around me, there's not too many in my age group that look the part as where they should be, and that's where dad bods and all that stuff comes into play. Would I give advice to younger people, especially if you're coming up and you're in your teens, early 20s, is really master, taking care of yourself, right? And that's an easy thing to say, but I'm talking about eating correctly, sleeping, doing the things you need to do, right? And really like having a goal that you set, I guess, for your body, if that's what it is that you want to do, and stick with it, right? Don't go for just instant gratification. It's real easy to like step there and be like, all right, well, I'm gonna start taking this at a younger age just so I can, expedite some of these different results that I want to get and get to a certain level that I want to get to. I would say, listen, it's a marathon. It's not a race. Like the tortoise is going to beat, the rabbit in this race. So at that point, start building, stay consistent. That's the other thing. You got to be consistent with what you want to do. If you're not consistent, that's not going to do you any good. If you're inconsistent at what you're doing, then you know what? You might as well throw it out and start over. Be consistent. And I think that's the other part of things. Right now, there's more knowledge out there than ever. There's good information.
Knowledge
out there,
or noise?
Huh?
It's a lot of noise too.
There is. It's hard for a younger person to sift through, especially if they don't know, to say this is credible, this is not credible. And don't just look to the influencer to get all your information. This is where, you really I would start looking more at like medical documentation if you really want to start looking at different things like that, or different studies. I mean, start reading about this, start educating yourself. This is something you can do that we never got. There was no internet around when I was younger or that age. At that point, we didn't have like all these resources that we could go out and utilize. We don't have people out there that have been doing it for so long that you go to and get to. It's before it was more of like, if you could find a good mentor or a good coach, then they would be able to pass that knowledge down to you. And at that point, that's what you really need to find. And at that point, see who's been doing it for the longest, who's been doing it the best, who has the best reputation, and who has the best trend as far as that goes. Because at that point, if you can find that person, they're going to be able to give you those cheat codes that you're really looking for, but they're the right ones. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can cheat, but at that point, are you going to get the information? Or are you going to do it right? So that's the things I would tell a younger person. I mean, at that point, don't get discouraged.
Consistent, right? Consistency, mentor, goal setting.
I mean, those are big, right there. You got to know where you want to go before you can start going. Right?
Yeah, you killed it. You killed it right there. Just I agree. There's nothing I need to add to that because he knocked it out of the park. And again, it's interesting because you said what I said to them. I said, hey guys, you're 18, 19, just be consistent. And then they tried to get the one thing. Well, what about this? And what about that? And I go, just stay consistent. Yeah. Is the ultimate. Yeah. It's the number one goal. What can help these early 40s that are out here? Because I know that I say you're a young pup, you're early 40s, but you've done something, and I don't think people realize this. Like, I know that when social media is here and they talk about people, there's a lot of people they'll go back to and go, hey, this guy had the right idea of training. Well, some of the guys, some of the most famous the world has ever known, were not in shape in their 40s, even though they came up with this philosophy of trainings or did not make it out of their 40s.
Right.
And so that's the reality of it. That's the harsh reality of it. And these are still people that are talking about, oh, these are the best ways to train. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I got a guy in front of me that's never stepped on stage, but he steps on stage basically in life every single day and every weekend at these gatherings and looks like a superstar. So there is the consistency that you've done. You're annoyingly perfect on your nutrition. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, I love it. Yeah, that's the way I like. I like to eat. So I like to eat like that. So it's not really even like, oh, you got to do this. Like I don't have to do that because it's just what I like. If I'd have to do it another way, I wouldn't like it.
But you've been able to do this, and I know as a youngster, you were baseball and stuff. You train, you're really consistent on your workouts. You're really perfect on nutrition. When I say he's perfect on his nutrition, whatever the nutrition plan is and the calorie intake he's doing at that time, he's good on it. He's not the guy that goes out for lunch at Chick-fil-A and stuff like that. He's the guy that has his meals with him and he stays with it. And so again, you're better than a lot of these guys that the internet people are saying these guys' training was the greatest. And it's like, well, wait a minute. We go back to, can you be consistent?
Right.
And can you do this? Can you give them some tips too on just health when it comes to like staying healthy and still training? Because I know right now the huge thing that's going around, especially if you got kids, is it seems like everybody's got this flu that's going around right now.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, as far as that goes, listen, blood work is key, especially as we get older, right? And you start getting to the 30s and the 40s and stuff like that, making sure everything's in balance where it needs to be. So your body's, it's functioning properly, right? So when you start doing the right things, or you are doing the right things, you're getting a good result from it. That's one thing. As far as everybody getting sick, everybody is sick. I mean, everybody's sick. It's not in one state. I talk to patients in every state. Everybody is sick. So that leads me into, I guess, therapy of the week. Because therapy of the week, I'm giving $25 off any immune system therapy that we have, from thymosin alpha 1, which is a peptide that helps build the immune system, fortify the immune system, and will stronghold over some of these different sicknesses you're getting out there. Glutathione, Triimmune, that's another one. And we have a couple other things, that we're utilizing for, people getting over sickness faster and maybe help preventing them from getting sick, because a lot of people have to be around a lot of people during their jobs, whether in the service industry, whether in the healthcare industry. You're dealing with a lot of different people, whether you're traveling as a business person, you're going through airports, sitting on planes that you have to sit in, that you have no open air in. I mean, I hate sitting in planes. It's the worst thing ever. So, what are you going to do to prevent this? Even Peter today, Peter's sick. He's got a game he's going to pitch in tonight. I said he could stay home half the day, but you got to go to school. I'm like, you got to go to school at least half the day if you want to play. If not, then you got to miss the game. That is what it is. Old school rule. You don't go to school, you don't play. It is what it is. So, for him, same thing. Doing the right things. The other thing about it is that sleep plays another role into this too, because if you don't sleep, you start running down your system. And when you start running down your system, first thing that starts going with a lot of people is they start feeling their throat and their tonsils particularly. I'm glad I don't have my tonsils anymore. I got that surgery done when I was 32. Worst surgery ever. Best decision ever. But these are different things you need to look at. So, with that, immune system boosting from a number of different therapies that we have, and giving yourself the right nutrition, sleeping properly. I mean, this is going to help the immune system, work its best, right? Especially nutrition, because, a lot of people might not know that, everything, it starts in your gut to a certain extent, especially immunes, the bacterias and all the different things that are going on in there, your microalbumin. So you got to make sure that your stomach's on point. This is where nutrition comes into play too as well.
Here's a good one for you, Johnny.
Sure. How often do you check your hormones? So if you're on hormone replacement therapy, you're going to want to check your hormones every 3 to 6 months. I would say 6 months at a minimum. Okay. If you're trying to dial things in, you might need to do it maybe 30 days later from when you started, right? If something's off, you're not feeling right, or just to make sure. But once you're dialed in with your hormones and you're taking the doses consistently, this is where consistency comes into play too. At that point, your levels will be good. And we really need to check up on different things at least 6 months down the line, like your complete blood cell count, making sure your red blood cell count, hemoglobin, hematocrit are okay, making sure that everything's on point too, as far as liver, kidneys, and also your prostate too as well. So these are some main things we'll look at right away. But if you've checked your hormones and you're 21 years old and you came back at 700 or 800. I don't think you need to check your hormones 6 months down the line, right? Maybe the next year, check, okay? And at that point, check and see what that's at. Now, if the baseline has went down tremendously, then you need to start making sure things are where they should be, right? Because something has changed. We're always going to lose at least 1% testosterone, but every year. But at that point, like some people lose a lot more in that year. It's just weird, and that could be a lifestyle change. That could be an environmental change, right? People move to different places and somehow that affects their body. It could be different things or products they're using on their body too as well. So, if you're feeling off, that's where really blood work can come into play. If you want to be preventative, that's where blood work can come into play. So having blood work is definitely like one of the best things you could possibly do to check up what's going on the inside, just to make sure everything's going good.
Before we jump to this next question, I got an interesting something that's always asked to me is somebody will say, I'm not hungry. I eat like once a day and I'm fine with that and I'm not hungry. And the person is a lot of the times is unfortunate. It's a skinny fat. It's the individual that and that's what I hear about when I'm on set a lot is people, I just do one meal a day. I can't eat more than that. I'm not hungry. So how would you get these people to kind of go, well, let's see what's going on. Let's see what the thyroid is doing and stuff like that. So we can kind of start eliminating what issues are going on there, because eating once a day, in my opinion, is the quickest way to deteriorate away.
I agree.
So yeah,
I agree.
What's some thoughts about that? Because I know that people they try to come up with I got a slow metabolism. You hear that. I got a fast metabolism. I got a slow metabolism. My thyroid is slow.
I mean, this is where blood testing comes into play. And when you do a blood test with Titan, like off the bat, you're going to get a full thyroid panel in there. So, I mean, we'll look at it and see what's going on. If your TSH is, 4 or 5, then listen, your body is probably not working optimally, and you're probably, you probably have a lot of weight on you. And that could be in reverse too, right? It could be super low, and then at that point you're like really skinny. You can't put any weight on. So that's something we obviously need to check and make sure it is right. Now, if you're still skinny fat and you're only eating one meal a day, I don't think one meal a day is healthy. I don't think one meal a day gives you the nutrients that your body needs to sustain itself. 1, calorie wise, 2, protein wise, just alone to hold on to muscle. So unless it's a meal like, I guess like
tell me the meal. Tell me a meal that would work.
What a meal that would work, honestly? I mean, you'd have to eat a lot of protein to get it. So, I mean, if somebody could even intake that, could somebody intake at least 60 ounces of steak in one sitting? Maybe. Could a regular person do it? Probably not. But if you could intake majority of protein, I think that you'd be way better off if you could do that in one sitting. But I don't think it could be done. I don't think, unless you're a power eater or somebody like that. I mean, no normal person is not going to be able to do it. Normal person is definitely not going to be able to do it. And for that person that says, listen, I can't get the meal in, right, then the next thing I'd say is, okay, start with the meal in the morning. I want you to eat first thing in the morning, like when you get up.
Which is the toughest thing for most people.
It is. But all right, even if you said that, like, oh, I can't eat in the morning, I'll feel nauseous. Okay, cool. Then lunch at noon, you should be hungry. If you've woke up at a proper time, let's say at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, then usually at lunch, you're probably hungry. Unless you're drinking so much caffeine, right? And that's what happens to a lot of people too. They start getting the caffeine buzz and they just ride out through the caffeine buzz, and that makes them not as hungry. But if you eat at noon, I think throughout the day by like 4 to 6, you should be able to drink at least another protein shake and start adding on there slowly and adding more and more to the plate, I guess. If you're going through such a calorie deficit and you're not getting enough food in, I mean, and everything is right, like hormone wise, thyroid wise, then you're probably not going to be fat. You're probably just going to be really, really skinny. And at that point, you need to start adding some muscle on. In turn, I think that a lot of those people have some sort of hormone imbalance or some hormone deficiency in a lot of cases that I see for people that are like that. So one thing or the other is probably playing out inside. It's just, what is it? And at that point, fixing it and then getting you on a spree. You could go on MK, which would increase hunger right away too as well. So if a person tells me he's not getting calories in and he's not hungry or she's not hungry, well, that's real simple to fix. As long as everything else is okay,
Good.
then at that point we can add that in and be able to make somebody eat.
I just want to help these guys out there that may not know, because you mentioned it, and I know that you know this stuff, but the TSH is something that comes back on your blood work, and it kind of shows
thyroid
you,
stimulating hormone.
and this one's a great one because the research keeps going back to you would like that number to be a 2.5 or below. And if it is for someone that's an athlete or wants to stay healthy, or someone that really wants to go, hey, I'm doing this, I'm eating right, I'm doing all this, and so that's a good gauge. Now that's not the ultimate number. I mean, it is the ultimate number to have, but below 2.5.
Sure.
So tell me about this when you start seeing these people that are in the 4s and the 5s and the 6s. What is
Sure.
this saying to you that's reading the blood?
When the provider sees something like that, they're going to say, all right, listen, something's off, right? Like you're pretty high as far as the TSH. And then we're not just looking at the thyroid stimulating hormone, because that's what TSH means. Thyroid stimulating hormone. That's what it's testing. But there's T3, there's T4, and then there's a balance play like this, right? Like even when you look at cholesterol, HDL, and LDL, we have to look at a ratio. You kind of look at the balance of these things. And if it's trending up, right, and the TSH is trending up like that, we're going to probably want to do something for that, right? Like an Armour thyroid type deal, something to balance T3, T4, and to bring that thyroid stimulating hormone down. We'd start on some sort of thyroid medication if that was the case, to bring it lower. And obviously we don't want that number like above 4 or 5. I mean, we want that number. I mean, I'm in the 1s, I think, like somewhere around there when I test. So, I mean, I think that's a really good number to be at. Underneath 2.5 is where you want to be at. But anything when you start really trending up, and it will reflect usually too. Like you'll see it. If they're a 4.5, their body usually looks like a 4.5. If that makes any sense. They usually look like they're overweight. They often complain of different things like fatigue and other things too as well. So thyroid is a main thing, guys, and it's an important thing too. I think a lot of people get caught up on just like testosterone or estrogen and stuff like that, and they just don't even worry about thyroid like that. Or I've seen a lot of providers just focus on thyroid optimization and throw all the other stuff out the window. Well, you
So
don't want to mess with the thyroid, huh?
Oh, so they say look at that first, and they don't calculate
Everything's
in
a thyroid problem.
Okay, gotcha.
Everything is a thyroid problem. This is a thyroid problem. That's because of thyroid. I'm like, listen, all right. Like you don't want to mess with the thyroid if you don't have to. If your thyroid is optimally working or it's working pretty good, don't mess with it. The biggest thing that I see with bodybuilders is they start using T3 and they start using some of these different thyroid medications. They start cutting up and all these other things, and then they become thyroid medication dependent at that point. Their thyroid takes the beating, it's done, and then now you're having thyroid problems, and now for the rest of your life you're gonna have these issues. So it's something I wouldn't really play with unless you really needed to. If you need to, then do it. Just like I say with testosterone, don't play with it unless you need to. If you need it, use it. If you don't need it, I wouldn't play with it. That doesn't mean people aren't going to, but you've been warned, and at that point, and listen, you're an adult in most cases, and you're going to make the decision no matter what we say. So, it's just really up to you.
Checking your testosterone is important, but so is checking your thyroid. That's just another one that I think is overlooked when people.
I agree.
And then you go into your cholesterol and your fats and everything. This is another important thing that's, I don't know if that's overlooked as much. It seems like it's a good one, but people still struggle with that.
Yeah, no, of course. Cholesterol and in general, I mean, think about it. Cholesterol medications are prescribed a year. That'll tell you. And physicians are real quick to put you on one. So, at that point, you get some of the physicians, they want you to change by diet, right? And that's the way to do it, is really trying to change your diet. If you have high cholesterol or you have, a high LDL instead of a high HDL. You're going to want to try to fix these things. And that's something that you got to start looking at. And then you got to be accountable to yourself to be able to do. And if you don't know how to do it, that's when you have to ask somebody or find credible information to help yourself. So, if you can change your diet, you could probably change the game in the cholesterol arena, right? And make things better. But usually that correlates. Now, have I seen people that eat McDonald's and fry all day long and their cholesterol looks great? I can't believe it, but yeah. But that doesn't mean it's going to be good forever either. So, at this point, like I would say, like if you have a high cholesterol, high triglycerides, your LDL is high, your HDL is low, then you need to think about what's going on and what you're eating, and then start changing this. If you're not exercising, you need to start doing this. If you start doing the things that you should be doing, those basic things, then I think these numbers are going to start improving no matter what. May you still need cholesterol medication? Possibly. That's some people I've seen that they change their diet, they exercise, and their cholesterol still doesn't look good. And I don't know how that is. I'm not with them 24/7, but going by what they say, then at that point, that's what we go by. And they say, listen, so at that point, they might need some cholesterol medication. But usually, people's cholesterol and everything change when they change their lifestyle.
I wish they would do that more, or family doctors would do that more instead of saying, hey, let's instantly go this way. Let's get you on the medication and everything relative to the point of.
What the problem is?
Go for it.
I'll tell you why they don't do it. It's because they have no knowledge of it. And they're not going to tell a patient to do something they have no knowledge on because they can't. So if they say, listen, oh yeah, you need to eat this, and then they start going to the arena of a nutritionist and a dietitian, and they're not able to do that. So it's the exact same thing about hormones. General practitioner might talk to you here or there about testosterone, but they don't get schooled on hormones and how to balance hormones. So that is something they stay out of. That's what I'm saying. Like any good physician nowadays, especially if you're like cardiology or something of that manner, it would do them a benefit to have a counterpart that they could utilize for their patients. Like, a dietitian, nutritionist that they could send to and say, hey, listen, this person really needs to change their cholesterol. Let me send them over to you and let them get a plan for you, and let's work together on this. That would do them a big service all the way around. It would do the patient a service too, as well. They wouldn't have to go out, search for it. It's something they can bring together. I don't know. That's more preventative side, and general practitioners aren't preventative. They fix things that are broke.
I wonder if there's that they're tired of telling them to change the diet, and the unfortunate truth is that most Americans, doctor can tell you, hey, you should probably clean up your eating. Sure, doc, and they don't.
Here's the other thing to that too, Mike. The other thing to that is that majority of those people that are telling those people to change look just like them, and they're doing even worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. You go to the hospital. I don't know how last time you've been to the hospital. You go to the hospital. Most of the nurses or doctors are stepping outside to smoke. Still, especially the older ones. The younger ones, not so much. They've wised up, I think, to a certain extent. But the older ones, they still go outside. They smoke. I mean, they don't look healthy. They are not being active. So it's kind of hard. Like, hey, like if you had somebody that looked the part, I think it would resonate a lot more. They'd be like, all right, doc, tell me what I need to do. Just like a person that comes up to the gym. Tell me what I need to do, Mike. I want to be just like you. But if you got somebody that's slouchy and doesn't look the part and they look unhealthy and there's like, hey, well, you better start changing this because like, well, look at you. Why don't you look the part? Why don't you follow your own advice? It's leading by example.
I got a cardiologist. He's 72, played ball at Auburn. Back in the days, back in the days, because he's 72 now, but he just looks like a superhero. And I'm like, that's my cardiologist. It's somebody that's still doing it, still pushing it, still living it. So
absolutely,
I fully understand that concept. And I just went in and did my yearly annual physical, and from the nurses to everybody is just a pinnacle of what you just said. You're like, holy sheesh. What? Yeah. So yeah, they just got the degrees and all that stuff, but didn't change anything for themselves. So let's for you out there, try to find that doctor that kind of lives it, kind of keeps you focused and excited and motivated. And that being said, here's a huge motivation. How can you lose 20 pounds in 30 days? Any tips, Johnny?
Woo, you think I can lose 20 pounds in 30 days? Any tips? Yeah, GLP-1. Listen, obviously it would be tough naturally to lose 20 pounds in 30 days. Unless you were severely overweight and then you went into a severe calorie deficit or you were on some desert island. I don't even know if you could lose 20 pounds in 30. Yeah, I guess you could. But I don't know. That's tough. GLP-1s for sure. I mean, we've got awesome weight loss peptides. We've got a couple of other things, but I think exercise, drinking water, might be losing water at this extent too, like in a sauna suit to lose that much weight.
Yeah, you can do the 30-day blitz with a little help from Titan Medical. You'll lose that weight. You get that, and if not more, and mostly it would be fat. Yeah. All right, big one for you.
Sure. Mike, I would love to hear some tips for super strong joints, ligaments. I never heard you complain about joint issues or injuries. Oof, Mike is lucky in that aspect. Me, not so much. Listen, BPC 157 and TB 500 preventative, or if you have acute or chronic injuries, are going to be a game changer. Obviously, Mike knows, or he often preaches slow and steady, and make sure you're warming up those joints and taking care of those joints and ligaments. I think it's very important, and I think as you get older, you really respect that, because when you're younger, you might not, and you really don't feel the pain that you feel when you get older and have that pain. And I'm definitely feeling that pain some of those days. So I had to learn the hard way, and that's one thing that I would definitely agree with on Mike. You should definitely take care of, because I'll tell you what, it's every single day. And if you live in cold weather, you're going to be feeling it even more. So definitely take care of that. But if you want to be preventative, or you want to take care of something that's bothering you per se, then PPC 157 and TB 500 are definitely going to be a game changer for you.
And they're so new to the world, which is great. I think what Johnny's saying is exactly right. This is the first time, there is something out there to help the ligaments and joints. And Jones, thanks for asking. I'm a big believer in stressing the body with a large amount of weight for the individual with the least amount of mileage. So these 20s and 30s and 40s reps are very rare. So it's stressing the body as much as you can. And I come from a powerlifting background, and so we stay with our numbers, we do a hard thing, but we don't destroy the body. So that's basically how I've been able to do what I've done since the early 80s is again, go in, stimulate. Lee Haney said it the best: stimulate the body, don't annihilate it. Move through the exercises with purpose, and feed not just the body, the muscles, but the connective tissue as well. And I think a lot of people skip that part. They just hey, it's protein for the muscles. Well, there's some great things for the ligaments and connective tissue as well for food. So sure, use all those aspects. Thanks for asking the question, brother.
I have a question about the ECA stack. What's the difference between ephedrine HCl and ephedrine sulfate? Think about ordering some from Titan. So ephedrine HCl is the good ephedrine. Ephedrine sulfate is not, right? So at that point, if you're looking for what was in real ephedrine products back in the day, then real ephedrine HCl is the way you're going to want to go. Ephedrine sulfate or ephedrine bark or any of these other things like that, you're really not going to want to go with. So if you want the real deal and want real ephedrine, then the ECA Stack Plus from Titan Medical Center is going to have what you want. It's guns. Just pop up. Gun check.
Oh my gosh. There we go. I think Mike take a 2-minute break. And I said, take me off and pull me on.
How you doing, Mona?
I'm doing good. I had a great
Awesome.
workout today.
Oh, great.
Gym, yeah. And I was just trying to eat something here, but I heard you guys talking about nutrition and how important that is. Because if I don't eat right, I just cannot see the results that I need to see. I could do
Right.
cardio, I could do whatever. You don't see the results. But I tell you what, like it was times when I don't have time to work out. So I say, you know what, I'm just gonna diet. And then I'll start the cardio and the workouts, consistently once I get on track. And with the diet alone, I saw changes on my body. Like
I'm sure.
yeah, so nutrition changes a lot. But AOD, I have to say.
That's another good one for
Arnold,
sure.
here we come.
I know you guys are getting ready for that for sure.
Yeah. Well, you always need like I feel like you need a goal or you need something to look forward to. Otherwise, you fall off track, right? So
Yep.
for me, it was just, going to the Arnold, or I piggyback on Mike. He's got to go to the red carpet. So he's got to
Yeah.
represent,
Absolutely.
in this movie.
Absolutely.
And so I have to be in shape. I can't just be next to Mike. I gotta get spray tan. I gotta do all that, looking good. Yeah, I
That's
gotta
right.
represent too. So you always need a goal to get to where you need to get. Because I feel like if you don't have one, then you start dieting. Everybody's dieting in January, but then like, what am I getting ready for the summer? Oh, I have a lot of time. And then you go back
Right.
to eating, and then the
That's
rest
true.
is history.
Excuses, you got some excuses.
I brought him in with a flex. He almost fell off the chair.
He posing on people.
Yeah. By the way, I got your package.
Flexing on people.
I showed him
Oh,
this.
you did?
Yeah, I got
I
it.
can't wait.
I'm
to
excited.
see it. I can't wait.
Oh, you're gonna get some good footage with that, guaranteed.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
I know. It's gonna be great.
Goal setting, I agree with her, and you said it earlier. Goal setting it seems so minute, but it's such a big thing to keep you focused.
Yeah, write it down. Put it in your phone. Play it to yourself. I mean, just ingrain it into yourself and do it.
All
All
right.
right. I'm a 44-year-old woman. I weigh 185 pounds and I'm 5'7". I need to lose weight and gain muscle. Just starting to train and work on my diet. Any recommendations on how to start training? One question is if you're 44, have you had your hormones checked? Because at 44 years old, you should definitely have them checked. Making sure those are optimized too as well. Great nutrition. You're starting on a diet. That's awesome. And a recommendation on how to start training. Just start slow. Get in there and start doing stuff. That's what I'd recommend. Have a plan though of something you're going to do. I mean, that's one thing. If you don't know what to do, there's plenty of different things you can go as start as far as a resource. Jeez, Mike is one of them. You can become some part of the Titan crew or anything out there. I mean, there's plenty of different things that you can go after to try to get a plan together.
Yeah, you can work with us in the Titan crew, help you with your nutrition and your training. But I agree with Johnny at 44 and 5'7", 185. We do need to lose some weight. And this is what's great is that you're making this decision now, and you're not going to wait any longer because it only gets as we age, it only gets harder. So this is a good time for you to do this, and you're picking a goal. Now, what's the weight? How much do we want to get down to? And I love that you want to build muscle, and you will just by eating correctly and by getting in there and exercising. So that's great. But for us to help you, I think just get your hormones checked by Titan Medical, give them a call. And then for me, just get into the Titan crew so we can make sure that we get you on the proper nutrition and training.
Yep. All right. I work a 3 to 12 work week, 6 a.m. to 6. I work a 3-12 work week, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Should I eat solids on those days or shakes throughout the night? Also, my last workout is Saturday, the day of the shift. Should I change that, seeing as I'd be up more than 8 hours? Well, I mean, listen, I think solids is key. I mean, as much as you could eat like solid protein or solid food, like do it, right? So if you can eat meals throughout your shift throughout the night, you just scatter them 3 to 4 hours if you can do something like that. And if you're that, if you're that, I guess on track. But if you're not, then at that point, schedule at least 3 meals and then start drinking shakes throughout the night, I guess. I mean, the best you can do. Saturday, the day shift. Let's work out the day is Saturday, the day of the shift. Should I change that, seeing I'd be up more than 8 hours? I mean, being up more than 8 hours shouldn't be a thing. Like literally, like if you can get it in, get it in. I mean, there's plenty of people that I know, like in the medical field that are working, they work like 3 shifts, like 3 12s in a row. And they usually have to work 4 or 5 more hours on those days too, because of the person not coming in or them covering the shift of somebody that called out. But they still go train. Like that's one thing. Like they don't miss their train now. If it's off that day, you're really, really tired, then listen, you might want to go get some rest, right? But at that point, like I wouldn't just miss workouts, because you had the shift and you're going to be at more than 8 hours.
Yeah, is this usually a fireman or a nurse?
This is like a nurse.
Yeah.
Or it could be a fireman too. They usually work 48 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours. So it could be a first responder too as well.
Gotcha.
But this
right.
this screams to me like a nurse too as well.
Nice. Yeah. Depending on work and what you can do, I agree with Johnny. Yeah, you can do solids. If unfortunately, I train a lot of nurses and doctors, and those shifts are pretty tough and pretty busy to where they have to do the shakes because of the moving and grooving that they do. So,
yeah. I mean, it's
But
easy. You open that up, pound, 46 grams, done. I mean, within a minute, gone.
But if you can, always just anybody out there, no matter what job you do or what you're doing, try to get the solid foods, and then supplement is a shake.
Yeah.
Or if you are bulking and you don't have that huge appetite yet, have a couple shakes at night. And Johnny does this with his son, who is taller than me. I think guaranteed by now. And put weight on him. He'll do like a shake with some fruits.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Right
I think it's
bed,
like
too. Knock it out.
How long does it take me to eat a meal? 5 minutes.
How long does it take you to prepare the meal?
It's a good question. Get it prepped, ready to go.
Minute 90, the microwave?
Yeah.
So you're looking at 6-7 minute.
10 minutes here and there to the most. Get the meal in.
10 minutes. Heat your meal up. 2 minutes and maybe 3 tops, and then scarf it down. I mean, this is not like playtime or I'm a foodie and I want to taste every morsel.
And that's what I think we all agree that it's make sure that your meals are prepped and you're ready to go. It takes you a half an hour to go to a restaurant, get the meals, go through the thing, sit down. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that on those kind of shifts and stuff. So,
Mike, what are the best exercise I can incentivize my dad and mom to do for improving health in their mid-50s?
Oh, sheesh. For me, I would say anything that's done at home, squats, just bending the knees, sit-ups, Supermans are where you're laying on your stomach and you just kind of raise up your torso a bit and your heels a little bit. I think if they're 50s and they haven't trained for a lot of their 30s and 40s and they're slowing down, those are some basic things that I recommend anybody can do at home to get them moving and grooving. Sit down there and do some sit-ups, small crunches, not sit-ups, but small crunches while you're watching your shows. I think it's just basic stuff.
Yeah. Easy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get them to the gym. I mean, put them through a little program and circuit, something that just get the blood flowing, start getting them in the routine of doing. I think that's the best way, not going in there, overloading them, them feeling sore for the next week or two, saying I'm never going to do this again. Just getting them, if you can get the endorphins moving, at that point, they're going to feel good about it. They're going to want to go back and do it, and they'll start feeling better and then looking better too as well. Mid-50s, you're not out of the game.
Yeah.
Look at Mike. I mean, and everybody's not Mike either, so I'm not even going to put you guys in the category of Mike. But there's a lot of 50-year-olds that I know. They're still killing it. They're still killing it, man. Like I see them in the gym. Some of the guys that I talk to in the gym, man, these guys are not bodybuilders. They're not lifestyle or fitness influencers. They're regular everyday guys or executives that are just on the move, right? Like they're running businesses and they're training because they want to be healthy and they want to look good. And that's what it's about. I mean, incentivize your mom and dad, but hey, listen, don't you guys want to look better, right? If you got any kids, like, don't you want to stick around for the grandkids? If I have them, awesome. If I'm going to have them in the future,
that's a good one.
I mean, there's things to live for and there's reasons to do these things. If not for yourself, then there's other things that you want to do them for, right? For your kids, for the grandkids, or whatever it may be. So, that's the way that I would incentivize for sure.
Hey, thanks for the question. That was a great question.
That was a good one.
And in endorphins, as Johnny said, if you start at home and they're doing just a little something, maybe in a couple of weeks they do go, hey, let's take it up a notch. Let's go get a workout, a gym membership, and we'll work out together. So it could lead to something bigger.
I mean, even get them to walk, power walk. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sprint to a little area or jog for a little bit. I mean, you will get stuff moving, but I mean, I think weightlifting is obviously the most important thing. But get them out there, get them moving, get them outdoors, as much as you possibly can too as well.
This one's
I am skinny fat, 5'9", 180 pounds. Do I bulk or do I cut? Skinny fat, 5'9", 180 pounds. Okay.
So
How
just
old
so you
are
know, Johnny, there's a follow-up. He does make a statement that he's been training for 1 month.
Okay.
So take that in consideration. Go for it.
All right. So how old are you? That's one question. If you're over 30, have you checked your hormones? This is another thing we want to do. As far as this goes, if you're skinny fat and you're 180 at 5'9", you've been training for 1 month. 1 month is really not a long time to be in the gym.
28
months,
years old.
38?
28
years old. Okay. 28 years old. Okay. So this you might still want to check and make sure everything's back on track with hormone-wise at 20 years old, just to make sure you're all good there. Next thing is obviously making sure your nutrition's on point. And if you've only been training 30 to 60 days, you're going to have to at least go a little bit longer. Should you bulk or should you cut? I don't think you should do either. I think you should get on a good training program and get your calories to where they need to be, whether it's going up a little bit. I don't think a major bulk. So when I think of a bulk, I think of like 3,000 to 5,000 calories if somebody can intake that much. And there are people that can. That's what I think I get on a bulk. Some people might not think that. Some people might think, hey, listen, if I'm at 2,500, I'm on a bulk. But I don't think that. I think depending on the person, they're going to have their maintenance calories, and usually maintenance, they say, is around 2,000. It might be a little bit more or less. But I think that getting your calories maintained, like because you're skinny fat, I think that you're going to change your body tremendously. Like if you were to eat 2,000 calories, 2,100 calories, and I have no idea, how your macros are right now, but if you're eating that much at 21 calories, 2,100, and you're training consistently through a good regimen, I think that you're going to change your body right then and there. And then you can start really getting into the little details as you go along and say, listen, I'm going to change this and this. I'm going to go up in calories. I'm going to change my macros to this. And then you're going to start changing even more. Obviously, listen, Tight Medical Center has a lot of therapies that can help you along with the way and expedite results too as well.
That's the golden ticket. You're 28. I love the fact that you're willing to be open about should I go one way or another way. I like that, and I like that you're in the gym already, and you kind of understand that you're the skinny fat. My recommendation is, it seems to me that most people are happier when they're in shape. So I don't mind you starting to. You're in the gym now, you're moving. I would say slice up and get into incredible shape visually for you that you're happy with. And use Titan Medical, get some Hercules Potion to help you stimulate that muscle, retain that muscle, make sure that your T levels are right. That way you can retain the muscle and retain as much muscle as you have as you get in shape. And then you look like Johnny, and then decide in 3 months if you want to go up in size.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're doing great. At least you're open to the idea of going one way or the other. And if you said around 2,200 calories, that's great.
Yeah.
So many people can't even eat that. So
Yeah. So that's one thing I would change your macros. I would change how much protein you're eating. It says 0.8 per pound. Or at least do 1-to-1, right?
I think that might be, is he doing European or something like that? I don't understand. You're not doing 22. You're not doing 8 per pound at 2,200 calories. 0.8. Oh, 0.8.
0.8.
I gotcha.
Yeah, no, 8 per pound.
Yeah, 8 per pound. I was like, wait a minute.
I'm
Yeah.
like, no way.
Yeah,
That'd be a lot of protein.
you're doing fine. 180 grams of protein a day, and then everything else is off of that 180 grams because you're 180 pounds. You just go off of that.
Yeah.
Good job, kid. Good job. He's thought about this. I love that he's thought about this, understands protein intake and everything. So that's great.
I'm a fan of both you guys. Any chance for a merch collab? Michael Hearn, my Titan Medical merch. Let's do it. I'm ready.
I do want the merch. I love it.
All right. 66 years old and haven't worked out in years. Is it too late to start over? Absolutely not. It's never too late, Tom.
We were training with a couple guys today, and they were talking about how they wanted to be like Robbie, and Robbie's over in Germany. He's with a friend of mine who was the German champion in judo. So he's over there training with him, working out with him. And my guy's, I think late 60s, but just savage, still has his own dojo and everything. So he's throwing people and getting crazy. So again, 66 is never too late. Whatever age you're at is never too late. You can always get better.
Absolutely.
But definitely check in with Titan Medical. That's
Yes.
for you. That's number one. There's
Absolutely.
nothing else until you find out what's going on with your body.
That's right. Can't make elbow pain go away. It hurts extremely during tricep lockout. Should I take a long break or continue doing the gym and somehow strengthening joints? So this Vladak, BPC 157 and TB 500 are going to change your world. If you've ever experienced golf elbow or tennis elbow, and through your daily routine, not even working out in the gym, tricep lockouts. Just think about sitting your arm on your rest in your car and driving. I've been in those situations, man. That's extremely painful. So with these two peptides, it will literally heal it probably in 3 weeks, maybe even sooner.
Yeah, I don't know why. You should try to heal this stuff, and it sounds like that you're trying to heal it through training. Yeah, definitely. This is Titan Medical again. Take care of those joints and ligaments.
Absolutely.
Is it a bone spur? Is there something else going on in there and stuff? So, but first thing is BPC TB 500.
Yeah.
That's you're hanging up right now, getting off this live and giving a call to them right now.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Get over that pain quick.
I said this today. It's like the sick man wants one thing and the healthy man wants 100.
Yeah.
It's
So
such
true.
a real true if you think about it. It's like he's injured. All he wants to do is be injury free. And so
Right.
for you guys out there, stay ahead of it. If some of this doesn't make sense or your TSH is like, well, I don't need to worry about that stuff. I'm good. I feel good. You want to stay ahead of it. And I think that's the hardest thing for a human to go, let me make sure the tune up on the car is okay. Well, why aren't you doing it to you? Why aren't you doing a tune-up and checking to see if you're okay?
Right. So
That's
important. Thoughts on daily Tonkat Ali, 1,000 milligrams and boron at 6 milligram routine. I feel great, been getting stronger, life force is up, but just wondering if I should be cautious. Cheers. I don't know. I don't take
I've heard
either one
both
of these.
ways, right?
Yeah.
Robbie loves it. Robbie Robinson loves it. But Robbie's always been an herb guy. Robbie's really precise. That's the thing. That's the thing. Robbie's just so precise and knows his body. So,
Yeah.
But I think this is something too. Is if you've done something and you've done tests and you know where your free testosterone is at and where your T's are, then just check it. Just check it every 3 months and see if that's working for you.
Yeah. It's true. I've been hitting the gym for the past 6 to 7 months, but on chest day during bench press, my shoulder feels like it's going to crack. What do I do? So something must be going on, right? BBC 157 TB 500 will hopefully help the shoulder, and then just making sure that you have good form too as well, and you know that you're doing that. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, we always talk about ligaments and joints and everything like that. So, you know, the shoulders and those soft connective tissues inside are going to be so key, guys. So key. So if you're having problems with the shoulder, BPC 157 TB 500 can hopefully help with that. And then just being smart in your training is the other side of that.
Let's write that down for these guys, because this one seems like it keeps. We talk about it, and we talk about it every week, and there's
Yep.
numerous people that are on here. If you have something going on, don't keep on the hamster wheel. You just keep going and going and going, thinking that it's going to go away, or you rest and think it's going to go away.
Yep.
So help heal it. Help take care of it. Johnny said it. Form. Let's make sure that the form is perfect, and you can do that in the Titan Crew. You put a video up, and we'll watch that and see if there's something if you're locking in your shoulders too much instead of opening it up. If your elbows are too high, and so now you're impinging the shoulders and the collarbone compared to being open to this lift. That could possibly be something. But again, it's back to the TB and the BPC. I am doing, actually, just FYI for everybody out there, I'm doing it now twice a week for the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, why would you do that? Because I'm really hyping up to go into this. I got this huge goal March 21st. And so I have to push everything else harder. But if nothing hurts, then why would you do that? Because I'm preparing myself for battle. And if this will help me 1%, I'll do it. Now, I know it helps me more than that, but I'm just saying, for me, and again, that's a guy that's walking around training injury free. And I still do that because of the fact that I know that I'm putting my body through this stress.
Absolutely.
Mileage is mileage, guys.
It's true. Shoulders not growing. Tried high reps, low reps, nothing works. What should I do? I mean, you can go a little bit heavier on the weight, I guess. For me, listen, you can utilize some different things. Maybe IGF-1 or 3, sticking directly on the shoulder, and then really trying to do some different exercises. Maybe the exercises you're utilizing aren't working as well. This is something you got to start looking at and say, listen, if this isn't working, then we need to change it up a little bit. You know, for me, like, I look for the 3D effect, especially in the shoulder areas. Now, shoulders, especially for me, I train a lot on because I'm trying to rehab my shoulder, which I know I'm never going to fix what's going on. But if I can keep the muscle around the shoulder really tight and really strong, it'll hold everything together for me. And that's what I do. So at that point, you need to start looking at doing some different things. Maybe it's some cable work along with some dumbbells, maybe some machine work too as well. But you need to change something in your routine of what you're training right now, because low reps and high reps, that's one thing, right? But the exercise you're doing too, that's a whole nother. and then just looking at it and be like, what worked and what didn't work. And obviously, if neither one of these are working, then something's off. Because you're going to grow. It's not like your body's not going to grow. It's going to change one way or the other. It's just going to get more defined, bigger. I mean, is your recovery there? You know, there's a couple different variables too as well.
Yeah, Johnny hit it. Great that you tried heavyweight. Maybe hoping that you tried it for 12 weeks, and then it's great that you did some low reps. But again, 12 weeks worth, and then it just goes back to something that we see every single day being in the gym, people moving through exercises and nothing is getting triggered. There's nothing going on. There's no mind and muscle connection, just moving through it. So this obviously may be your weak point. And so you have to watch yourself and see how you're training the shoulders and see if you're just moving through the exercises or the other aspects. You feeding, you recovering, you doing it right. A lot of aspects to it.
Are you getting mind and muscle connection too? And if you're not, Hercules Potion is the way to go for you. Mike, any advice on how to get into personal training? What certification do you recommend? How to pass a test and how to get a job? Wow, he wants to lay out, Mike.
Go get certified. Just go get certified right now. Go get ACE or any of these certifications that are
ASM. I mean, there's
go join the gym. Yeah. Join the gym.
Some of those gyms will put you through the certification process too. I think the big box ones will, right? I'm not sure anymore.
I'm not sure.
It's been a long time.
Good. Go do that. You're in and rocking and rolling. Great. It's a fun thing to do too. I think like our boy Serge, I don't know how he runs this whole ship and does that stuff and trains Stallone and all these guys, but he does it and he loves his job. So good for him. It's a great career.
It was fun. I did it when I first got down here and I was finishing up college. I trained at the YMCA. I trained my priests and all kinds. It's really good. It's really good to do and to see the results that you get people too as well, especially if you're a good trainer.
Was that before awesome. Or after Chippendales? Was that?
I wasn't in Chippendales, but yeah, I was young. I think I was 21 at the time or something like that. 21. It was really cool though. I liked working on the YMCA. It was really, really good. Kids and then the adults too as well. YMCA.
How do you balance leg recovery?
How do you balance leg recovery? I lift legs and I can't move for half a week.
Good job. That's about right.
That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's a good portion of time. Usually hits 2 days later and then 3 or 4 days to kind of get rid of that soreness. So good job. I would say you're doing a great job.
Yeah. But get better recovery and possibly, you might want to look at some different therapies that we have for recovery. Plus, I mean, using heat, using like a ray gun, like get that stuff out, foam rollers. There's all different types of ways that you can help with leg recovery and maybe help get some of that lactic acid out of there or get your legs feeling a little bit better and not so stiff. Massage.
Some IGF recovery, sleep, get that out.
IGF, Hercules Potion. I mean, there's a couple different ones you can utilize for this. I mean, even any of the GHRHs because you're raising IGF-1 levels, so you get that benefit. Huh?
MK
is another good one too as well. Absolutely. I mean, like I said, it really depends on the person and how they are. If they're disciplined and they can utilize that, great. If not, there's other things that you can utilize where they're not going to get the spike in hunger too as well.
Guys, get on over there today.
Behind the back pull downs. Mike loves these. These are definitely a good one.
I like them. Pretty much everybody I train with loves them. It's a great one. Give Johnny one more big one. Here we go.
Hey guys, talked to you last week about my off-season caloric intake. Currently closing in on 5,000 now. I don't miss any meals ever, but I can't lie. I'm hardly ever hungry going into any meals. 2 months in.
Good job.
Well, MK, baby. I mean, this is lined up for MK677 for sure. If you're like this guy and you're training and you can't get the meals in and you need to get the meals in, This is where you utilize MK as a great tool. You will get hungry. I don't care if you ate that meal 5 minutes beforehand. You're going to your next meal. You're going to want to gobble that meal down, and you're going to eat some more. So,
I love
if you're looking for one of the best tools to increase your hunger to get those meals in, then MK is going to be it. And then you'll get the hunger benefit, stimulating the ghrelin, but you also get all the other benefits of raising IGF-1. So stronger recovery, stronger muscles, better overall result. I mean, that's what it's going to do.
Johnny. Thanks for hanging today, brother.
Appreciate you guys.
it, my
Man.
man.
Thank you guys.
Feel it like always. Guys, jump on over there,
Yes.
Titan Medical, TB, BPC, and the MK.
Definitely.
Especially for the last guy,
Great
man,
ones.
5,000 calories. And I fully understand. I fully understand you're off season and you're not hungry going into it. That's the point of being off season and a surplus. But MK is like, again, just like the ligaments you're strengthening up, MK is going to get you that hunger to you get that extra size on. This is great.
Yeah.
That's a go-to. So we talked to you last week. We talked to you this week. Next week, you'll be on MK.
Yep. Gibson, definitely go with testosterone instead of Summerellin.
See you, Johnny.
Sorry, I seen him on here. He said he's been on 2 milligrams of Summerellin 5 days a week. Haven't seen any results other than improved skin. Should I discontinue and try testosterone? What are your thoughts? I want to reduce body fat, increase muscle mass. So Summerellin is an old dinosaur. Even if you were taking Summerellin, you should be taking it 7 days a week, not 5 days a week. So whoever put you on that protocol has no idea what they're doing. You have to be on Summerellin consistently. It's only going to last for 3 months. If you do utilize it, testosterone is going to work a hell of a lot better in raising IGF-1 levels and improving overall results, especially if you want to lose body fat, especially in the stomach area. So testosterone is definitely going to be the go-to over that. If you're worried about financially portions of testosterone because it's a little bit more expensive, then I would go with Hexerol the next. That would be it. And then CJC with $12.95 with Ipamorelin after that. So those would be it. Sorry, I seen it.
Boom.
That
No,
was a good one.
home run.
Thought we'd
Home
answer
run,
real quick.
Captain.
Yeah.
Thanks, Johnny.
Appreciate you guys. Later.